Hey everybody, it's Peter, and this is the 2025 Can-Am Defender Limited. And in a lineup of Defenders that expands to just about a Defender for everyone, this is my favorite one, especially for this time of year. So if you're interested in any of these things, anything from Can-Am, I'm filming here at Extreme Torque Motorsports. There are 3 locations in New Brunswick here. If you're in the East Coast and you're looking for really knowledgeable, really helpful, really great people to help you find the right model, put the right accessories on, and give you a great deal, these guys are absolutely amazing. Highly recommend them, and they give me complete access to their entire product line. So if there's other ones, other Defenders you want to see that maybe aren't in this video, make sure you subscribe, let me know in the comments what you think, and maybe just leave a positive comment, help this spread out a little bit more, give them a positive comment as well, and let's get going with this review. So when we talk about the Defender, you probably know someone who has one or has looked at one or has at least a competitor to this, because there really is a Defender for everyone. This one I like today especially because when I woke up this morning, it was 0 degrees Celsius here in Canada, which is 32 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a little warmer now, the sun's shining, it's great, but this thing has climate control and it's really, really nice, and it's got a great sealed cab, and that's available on the limited model, or that's standard on the limited model. So you can get this as an open cab version, and some of the things I'm going to talk about today are valid for all Defenders and some are exclusive to this one. So again, I got to go through what I have in front of me, but if you're looking at the Defender in general, I think this review should help you as well. So in addition to being the one with the enclosed cab, this windshield does open. You can get some open air view. We'll talk about stuff on the inside as well. One of the things I really love about this is you have massive tires. So you got these 30-inch tires. We're going to take a look at the front end in a second, but that gives you great ground clearance and a really good approach angle here. They've really focused in on making this thing super capable. So of course you got the steel bars here. You also have the steel plate down there. So you've got everything you need, not just styling, but actual practicality. And there are things that this doesn't have, things like adjustable suspension to make it a little bit more sporty, but I would wager that a lot of people who have adjustable suspension kind of set it and forget it. And in this vehicle, which can be used for fun and for work, it really kind of meets the the middle point where I think a lot of people are looking for. So let's take a look at the front. We're going to work our way through the options at the back, and then we're going to head inside and talk about how all that works. So taking a look at the front here, you can see a lot of things if you kind of look closely. First of all, we're looking at from the headlights down for a reason. Headlights are halogen headlights. Now they're very automotive style. Now some would say, hey, I want LED headlights and that kind of thing. And I hear you, sometimes LED headlights are good, but these are halogen. The benefit with halogen is especially going to be useful on this limited model. Halogen create enough heat to melt the snow. And when you have a full enclosed cab with climate control, halogen lights are the way to go right now, because then you don't need a heating element or anything else to make sure you've always got some lighting. Now, if you want to throw LED lighting on this, lots of places to put them. You got some, bolt holes already pre-drilled for you right there, so you can put some right in the front bumper right away, or the front crash bar right away. Lots of good things there. You have 14 inches of ground clearance here, which is all the ground clearance you're going to need for work and for most people's play. So you've got great ground clearance, and you can see little designs up. A lot of time the work models have sort of the straight A-arms there, but they have that curve to them there to give you a little bit more ground clearance in the center of the vehicle, away from the wheels. So again, that's all good stuff. Now, one thing you don't have is you do have a tool adjustable preload. So you can adjust your preload sort of one time and you kind of set it and forget it kind of thing. So again, while it's not fully adjustable like some other sport kind of models, you do have the ability to adjust your preload front and rear on this model. So you can still tailor it exactly the way you want it. So we're going to talk about this cab in a second here, but as we move our way alongside, we should talk about some of the safety that this has, because there's something worth noting in here. Of course, the cab itself offers no rollover protection at all, right? I mean, it's just a roof and that kind of thing, but the actual crash bars on this are actually ROPS approved. What that means, or ROPS certified. So I don't know how to say that, if it's ropes or ROPS or whatever you want to say, but ROPS. Basically what that means is, if you've ever designed something at home and said, yeah, it should be good enough, in some way, some other manufacturers are doing that, or they have their own internal testing for their crash bars and roll cages and that kind of thing. But Can-Am goes the extra step of actually having it certified to a certain standard required to meet the ROPS certification. So what that means is, if you ever have an issue in this, you get a little too wild on the trails or something's going on, you actually have a crash bar system that is certified to standards that are used in all kinds of work vehicles or work implements, farm instruments, that kind of thing. So you've got a properly certified roll cage outside of this actual cab itself. Let's move back, talk about the work capabilities of this, and then we'll head inside the cab and talk about the cab. Take a look under the bed here, you can start to see a few things I didn't really point out as well as I'd like to on the front. So I want to show you that preload adjustment right down there in the silver in your screen right there. So you've got that. The other thing that you can't tell on video is scale. And I can tell you that the components here are very heavy duty components. You've got a lot of strength back here, variable rate spring rate there, but again, nothing too crazy, nothing adjustable or anything like that. But let's talk capability. You can see the tow hitch here. You know you've got the bed. So again, very centralized mass that's going to help you with you know, general stability and that kind of thing. But let's talk about capability. We can see the tow hitch. Let's talk about overall payload and everything else that has to do with the bed and overall capability of this. So I've got my cheat sheet out to make sure I get the numbers right when we talk about capability. And on the website, I'm looking at Can-Am's website for this exact unit. Of course, the Canadian website, because I'm filming in Canada, but it's the same specs basically everywhere from what I can tell. And I'm going to speak in pounds anyways, so Americans will be perfectly happy. Anyways, the specs for this are interesting if you look at the website. First of all, let's just talk towing capacity. We mentioned the hitch there. So you have 2,500 pounds towing capacity. That's quite a bit for a side-by-side. A lot of the good ones in this class end at around 2,000. So you've got a little bit extra towing capacity, a little extra room to tow the really heavy stuff, whether you're working with, you know, wood or anything else that's heavy and you want to like, take it on a big trailer, or even just take your regular utility trailer instead of a smaller lightweight trailer, you can take that. So between your truck and this, you can take things around. So 2,500 pounds towing capacity. And then you get into things like payload capacity. Now the payload capacity, if you just looked at that, you would see it is 1,200 pounds. Where am I looking right here? 1,200 pounds of payload capacity. So the reality is 1,000 pounds of that can be in the bed, because a lot of times they list payload capacity on other makes, other manufacturers, and they do overall. So when you see 1,200, that includes your passengers 1,000 pounds in the bed. Some other models will do 1,000 pounds of payload capacity, but your rider weight takes away from that. So 1,200 pounds of payload capacity, 1,000 of which can be in the bed. Of course, the bed is, you can tip it up. We'll take a look at that in 1 second. And then there's a tailgate here. Tailgate holds, if I'm correct, it's 250 pounds. Yes, 250 pounds of tailgate capacity. So that's plenty of weight. I'm under that weight, but you know, I can sit on there, no problem. So if you're loading something in here, you can absolutely put the pressure on that and it's not going anywhere. And it feels really solid. A lot of them are kind of clinky and that kind of thing. So you've got a lot of solid stuff on here. And then you've got all the link accessories that you can tie down to this. So let's take a little closer look at the box here, and then we'll take a look at how it tips. And there's a couple things in there, and then we'll head in the cab. So we're going to look at things from the side here. Of course, this one's been out, it's been used a little bit here. So you can see all the way around, you've got these style of connectors here. That's part of that link system. So Can-Am, I always say they're almost a bigger accessories company than they are actually a vehicle company, because they make accessories for everything that they make, including like Sea-Doos and things like snowmobiles, and of course, you know, the Can-Am Spyders and Rikers and that kind of thing, and of course the side-by-side lineup, ATV lineup, and they use this style connector for all of their stuff. So they have so many accessories that some of them are cross-compatible between something like this and even your Sea-Doo or something like this and other things. And the other thing is, if they've been doing this for a while, so you can a lot of time if you have a Can-Am accessory on your current model, you can move it over to your new model. So you can see lots of places to put attachments, different things. You can just put some wood in there, you can put some other attachments type thing in there. You got your regular cup holders there, or cup holder spot there on the rear tailgate there. So lots of different places to put lots of different things, and that can all be firmly mounted. The one thing you can't see in this shot, let's see if I can zoom in a little bit, there is that D-ring right there. There's D-rings in the corner, so you still have the standard tie downs that you would have anywhere else, which make it super easy to tie down the basics as well. All right, so now we're gonna take the handheld, we're gonna walk inside. First of all, I have it running, which is usually the cardinal sin of doing videos. You don't wanna jump inside something with an enclosed cab with it running and microphones and all that, because it's gonna pick up how noisy it is. But as I come around the back here, you're gonna hear some noise. I'm mic'd up, so the camera's not, but I'll try to stay with the camera here. You're gonna hear some noise around back. It is a cool day, so you got a little bit of condensation coming off the exhaust there. Coming around the side here, you can see a nice compact unit here. I didn't show you the tilt on the bed. I should probably show you that. Let's go wide angle for a second as we do that. I can do that easily one-handed from either side. Just lift that up there, and it is supported by a strut there. So nice and easy to pull up and down, cantilever down, push it right back down, let it latch, and there you go. So that is the bed there, which we didn't show you earlier. Let's jump in the cab now and show you a couple things that I like. Before we jump in, I gotta, again, we're still wide angle here. I gotta pop this door open, and I gotta show you these rubber seals here. They are super good. When you shut this door, it is like beyond automotive quality. You hear the latch there, but the rest of it is just like, there's not even a thud. It's just so squishy and so well insulated. It's better than a car, better than a lot of cars. So jump in here, nice handle on the outside here. We'll talk about the windows, talk about a lot of things here. First of all, it is a 3-passenger. You have shoulder belts for everyone. You have headrests for the 2 people. And of course, a lot of headroom in here. You're gonna be wearing your helmets in here as well. One thing I really like, they do try to get rid of that, you know, the sound that can come from a lot of glass. You have glass everywhere and a plastic roof by having some sound deadening material up top. Let's jump in, we'll shut the door here and we'll turn things around. All right, first of all, let's show you the door handle itself. If I can get the camera to, I'm using a little Steadicam here, which is helping out. There is a door handle in there. As we slam that shut, you can kind of hear, again, you hear that latch, but you don't hear the rest of it. Now, again, it is as noisy as it's going to be at idle here. It's idling around 1,200, 1,300 RPM, and you can see the door handle here. If it gets water in there, it just drains right out there. You do have power windows, which is nice to have here. So we can put the power window down, and as we do that, all the way down. Now, one thing you can see here, you actually have tinted windows. You can see the difference between the, looking at the cones there, and that kind of thing. It is darker here than up there, so tinted windows is pretty nice to have. You don't see that in a lot of units as well. This one here has the nice wide-angle mirror on the inside, which is one thing I really like because I can sort of see around without having the mirrors that are going to catch things on the outside. Of course, if you wanted mirrors on the outside, I'm sure there's a Can-Am accessory for that as well. You can see the front windshield here does have a strut there, and it has a handle down here. That means you can open it. I believe there are 3 positions of being able to open that up, but you don't need to because we've got the climate control system running here. So let's just tune into that. If we can get that in focus here at the right angle and the right, oh boy, I'm facing a lot of sunlight here. So I'm gonna shield it with my hand. Where can I get the camera to, oh, we'll just go higher. There we go. So you can see, right now it's set to 70 degrees. It tells you the heat is running. Where's my hand there? 70 degrees, you can see the heat is running there and the fan is on low. So that temperature can be set by just dialing this around, 72, 73. Now, of course, this is Fahrenheit. And you can also press it to set things like air conditioning, air conditioning and heat or auto. So we'll set it to auto right now. Auto cranks up the fan if you want to do that. You can see the fan is on high and the temperature is on 72. What I'm going to do is turn it fully off right now. So again, auto climate control with a super simple display. Let me just come in a little closer here. Super simple display with a set and a power button right there, and that's it. Just this little tiny piece there. Probably the size or around the size of a business card is this kind of square here, and that controls a truly automatic climate control system. Taking a look at the dash here, again, we are facing the sun. We don't have to face the sun. You've got the basic dash here. We can take a look at the dash in another area there, but you got the Visco-Lock differential and that kind of thing. You can see what modes you're in. Of course, you got the basic controls here for the front differential lock, rear differential lock, and it tells you clearly you're in 2x4 right now, and then Can-Am's typical system here to control that dash. A couple other things I like here. Let's go fully wide angle again. Oops, let's try to go fully wide angle. There we go. You got a nice little clasp here on the glove box, which allows you to open that up and have things in there. It is very quality feeling, and then the other thing is you can throw a little lock on there. So if you had something you wanted to lock in there, keep it safe, you could do that. Of course, the cab is also lockable. There's a key lock on the outside there. There is a dip to the front here. It gives you a little bit better angle to see the front, almost the front wheel area here. It's hard to show on camera, but it is dipping down there. And overall, quite quiet and reasonable in here with a lot of quality. Even the cup holder here, you've got the nice quality rubber to kind of hold things in. 1, 2, 3 cups that can fit in there, which is kind of nice to have. There is also door pockets there, which give you a little bit of extra you know, places to hold some things. Let me flip the camera around and just show you myself in here so you can see what it looks like with a 6-footer. So taking a look at me, you know, as much as this has a cab here, it does feel very open air, especially when you can put those windows down. You can certainly have an open air kind of feeling. You can see my arm rests nicely on the door if I wanted to, and I can sort of drive here. You do have a tilt steering wheel, so let me just kind of tilt it down there. Do have a tilt steering wheel. I have it set to here, more for filming, but I could move it around for where I wanted to as well. I just noticed here, I think this opens. Hey, look at that. There is an opening space there. There's also a little space down here by my knees that holds, you know, maybe a wallet, some change, that kind of thing, all kinds of stuff. So you've got lots of storage spaces in here and a lot of comfort. And even like with the bar here that holds the headrests, it improves visibility overall because it's not just up and down. So I can really see everywhere I need to see in and out of this thing, even with a cab on. Now, of course, you can get Defenders without cabs, but like I said this morning, when it's 0 degrees outside, 0 Celsius, it is pretty nice to have a cab like this. But you might be thinking, hey, I don't want a cab because it's going to get too hot in the summer. Well, again, you've got the tinted windows, you've got the ability to vent the windows, but you've got air conditioning in here. So you can also keep it nice and cool. And what that means is more ability to take people that maybe aren't as into things as you, or maybe you're just ready for some of this yourself. So let's talk about who this is for specifically. So let's talk about who this is for. The Defender line in general is for people who don't want to pay for something that they don't need, but can get exactly what they want. So let's start with this model and we'll work about a couple other ones. First of all, what I find with this is it's all about convenience. So the first thing with the cab that you notice is it's just nice to have a little extra mud and rain protection. And I know you're thinking, a lot of us are like, hey, that's just part of the experience. But when you have a 3-passenger system like this, even if you're ready for the mud and the rain and that kind of thing, sometimes your passengers aren't. And you can take them in here and they can stay cleaner, they can stay drier, they can stay warmer or cooler, whatever you need them to be. And you can enjoy the company because it's not that loud. Even at speed, you can communicate with each other, and that's just a huge thing. Side by side over an ATV, the biggest benefit to me is the ability to share that experience with someone, especially when you're considering going out on the trails. Now, if you need to do work, this thing's also fully capable. So it's fun on the trails and convenient on the trails. And there's another couple of convenience features as well. But even for work, the convenience of having just a bed that cantilevers with the struts, to have 2,500 pounds towing capacity, to have 1,000 pounds in the bed, 1,200 pounds overall carrying capacity in this thing, you've got a lot of capability that just makes your life more convenient. Even little things like the parking brake on this. It's a little lever, you push the brake down, you pull the lever up and it locks in place, which means when you get in, as soon as you touch the brake to start it, it automatically kicks off the parking brake and you're good to go. There's just less steps in there. It's all about convenience. So I think that makes a lot of sense. So again, who is this for? Well, first of all, maybe you've reached the stage where you're like, hey, I like the mud, I can put the windows down, that kind of thing, and do my thing. But if you don't want to get all the mud and all the dirt and all that stuff inside, you've got this. The flip side is, if you're like me, sometimes you're okay with getting out and getting muddy and that kind of thing, and some days you're like, oh, it's gonna be cold, it's gonna be wet, it's gonna be this and that, and you don't feel like doing all that. Sometimes the weekend hits, regardless of the weather, that's your weekend to do something. Maybe it's going hunting, maybe it's doing some work, maybe it's having some fun on the trails, maybe you got family over and you wanna take them out, that kind of thing. Whatever it is, this thing is gonna allow you to do that in comfort. I didn't talk about things like the seat comfort, which is above average for the class. Very cushy, very comfortable, and that's sort of what I feel. Every piece of this unit is basically above average for the class. Like I said, you can get things with adjustable suspension on certain things and, you know, have better systems like that if you're going to use those adjustments. But for what you want, I think for what most people want on the trail and for work, this thing is absolutely perfect, and the cab really adds to it. Whether you want it to plow your driveway, whether you want to go out in the hottest of the summer heat, or anything in between, whatever kind of weather, this thing just makes it convenient, makes it fun to do, and you're never held back by weather, terrain, or pretty much anything else. Can-Am Defender 2025. If you have questions about it, let me know, because again, I can come back to anything in the lineup, including coming back to this very one to give you more information. If you want to get in touch with Torque Motorsports or Extreme Torque Motorsports, check the link in the description. They'd be happy to help you. They got 2025s in here, they got all kinds of stuff in here, and we're moving to the snow season. Looking for anything for the snow, they've got that as well. We'll talk to you in the next one.